Well, let's get started. Let's call this meeting to order. September 25th AAC meeting. Jody, would you mind doing the roll call for us?
I do not mind. All right. Chair John Foley.
Here.
Douglas Bernizer.
Here.
Vice Chair Kat Pence, who is absent. Lieutenant Colonel Nathan Edgecombe.
Present.
Christopher Burkholder.
Present.
Mike Morrow.
Present.
Arnaud Verstoif.
Present.
And Counselor Linda Nishioka, who is also absent this evening. And then for staff, we have John Pascal, Aaron Eisen, and myself, Jody Vanderwall. Thank you.
And Mark.
Okay.
Sorry, and Mark Bechtel. Sorry about that.
All right. Now that we're all here, let's move on to the approval of the agenda. Has everyone received and reviewed the agenda for the meeting tonight? And are there any additions needed? You have not?
No, I think there was a hiccup because I didn't get to anybody either. I think my email picked it back, so.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we can figure that out later, but for the folks who have reviewed it, any things that need to change? All right. If not, could someone move to approve the agenda as distributed?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor of approving the agenda as distributed, please say aye.
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 Any opposed?
All right.
All right. Then I will move on to the approval of minutes from the last meeting. Has everyone received and reviewed the minutes from the July 17th meeting?
Yes. Yes.
And are there any corrections or things missing from those? All right, if not, could I ask someone to move to approve the minutes as distributed?
So moved.
And is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you very much. So all in favor of approving the minutes as distributed from the July 17th meeting, say aye.
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 All right, any opposed? There being none, the minutes are approved. The next agenda item is public comment. And since we're kind of limited to board members and government staff for in-person participation, I guess there would be written submissions from the public if there were any. I don't know that there were.
We didn't receive any, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So yeah, we can continue on to the reports. The Tower Chief report, I don't know if, I guess Rob Broyhill's not here. Is there anything, John, that you wanted to review from that?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Rob wasn't able to attend tonight. He had a very, very light report, so I'm just going to kind of read really directly from it. He summarized the traffic counts for August 2024, 5,410 total for the month, which is up 629 from August of 2023. Their busy day was 289 operations, and year to date, he has 33,524 operations. They count theirs a little different than ours because we don't count overflights, but for year to date, for aircraft that actually operated to and from the airport, we're at 32,573, which is about 8.5% higher than last year. So trending really well. We may get close to 50,000 this year, which would be the first time in probably 15 years that we reached that level. So very, very busy, getting busier. And that was it. They had absolutely no accidents or incidents. They had no mandatory occurrence reports, so no pilot deviations or anything like that for the last 2 months. So he said there was very little to report, and that's all I have for you. Happy to feedback any questions if there are any.
Any questions on the Tower report?
I do. Do you capture any after tower hours flights, or is that strictly during operational time?
Only during the time that the tower is open. Yep, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week.
Thanks.
Any other questions on the Tower Chief report? All right, then there's also the airport manager's report, which was part of the packet. John, I don't know if there's anything you wanted to highlight out of that.
I actually wanted to make an addition if I could, sitting in the middle of the table. It's a little bit difficult for those of us on TV to see it. There's an award there that we were presented, we being Mark Bechtel, who's there in the room, Brian Martin, the mayor, councilors Nishioka, Nordyke, a great number of people from the Fly Salem Initiative. We received an award last Wednesday at the annual awards banquet from SEDCOR, the Strategic Economic Development Corporation, for a public-private partnership award for the entire Fly Salem initiative. That includes this Airport Advisory Commission, who obviously supported commercial air service, sent letters to the council in support of commercial air service. And even prior to these AACs, back in Chair Hidley's 6 years, and then Chair Tim Hayes' 6 years, and Tim Hayes is actually on the Fly Salem committee. We've been working towards commercial air service for over a decade. So when you think of all the public agencies, from the federal government all the way down to the local government, and then all of the private entities that participated, the Fly Salem Committee, Chamber of Commerce, Travel Salem, the airlines, the wine industry, and all of that. It was a great honor to receive that award. So the mayor re-awarded it to us on Monday night's council meeting, which I missed. So Mark accepted it on our behalf, and then he re-awarded it to me this afternoon, and I wanted to share it with the Airport Advisory Committee. So that is all part of your award as well, or that award is awarded to you as well. We're going to find a place in the terminal that where it will be displayed prominently, but also cannot be stolen. So, Aaron, if you write that down your list of to-dos, we have to figure out how to secure that, but put it out there where it's available for the public to see. We're very proud of that. So, other than that, I don't have anything else to add. Always happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Any questions for John? I have a couple, short ones anyway. I saw in the report we had an uptick in noise complaints in August, kind of like 6, I think, which seems unusual. Is that, have we had any this month? And I'm wondering if there's a trend there. At least the way it looked like in the report, I saw a whole bunch of.
So the running total for the year is 6. I don't see that there's 6 for the month.
Maybe I'm confused by the report. If I look at it, under the table, I look at August and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 low flying Avelo, 2 of those, 2 Helos, a small jet, low flying Cessna.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Oh, I see. You're talking at the bottom.
That jives with the table, but it was just interesting to me. Usually we don't get very many.
Yeah, and that doesn't, oh, I see, corresponds with the 5 up above. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I don't have an answer for that. And it doesn't look like, one is the airline, small jet, a couple of helicopters. Actually, well, then one in July was also the air carrier. So I don't know that there's any sort of a reason for that uptick, other than maybe it's just, it's busy in the summertime. We had 2 in July and then 5 in August. And then, we typically have about 1 or 2 a month the other months. Certainly 2 of those were the air carrier, and some of their flights were nighttime. I think you have to correct me if I'm getting this wrong, Aaron, but they had a later in the evening flight during the summer. I think it was maybe the Santa Rosa flight on Mondays and Fridays. So that would be my assumption, but other than that, I don't have any specific reason why.
Okay. And then the other question I had, just looking at the operations, we're still seeing steady growth with the Avelo flights. I think we're 30 for the last 2 months going. Do we expect to see that to continue to uptick or go down? Or I guess there's that I guess what do they call Napa service? What's the town? It's the Santa Rosa.
Sonoma County. Yeah, so that flight terminated the first week in September. So that was a summertime route. We're hopeful that will return maybe as a seasonal route in the summer months. And then they've also taken the Tuesday Burbank flight away for the time being. And I don't know, Aaron, if I don't recall the schedule off the top of my head, if that Tuesday flight is due to come back after football season, but they did adjust their schedule post-holiday season travel. So we do expect a lull in September and October, and then it'll pick up again around the holiday season. Then another lull, and then the spring summer travel season. So it's nothing that's unexpected, but they did add flights over the summer, and then they've taken some of those back.
Okay.
The Tuesday Burbank flight does come back for the holidays.
Okay, great.
We'll get a couple.
So
And there's some discussion about other cities and things, but nothing firm yet that we know of. And I will add, I don't think I have it in my airport management report, but I am scheduled to go to an air service development conference with a couple of the folks from the Fly Salem committee and with our air service development consultant late in October. So we'll be meeting. I do think I have it in there. Meeting with at least 6 different airlines. And so, we'll see if there's any information we can bring back in this would be the November meeting. If there's anything new to report there for enhanced air service.
Okay. Yeah, those were the 2 questions I had. Any other questions for John? All right. If not, we can move on to the action items for this meeting, of which there are none. So then the last thing here would be items for commission discussion. And I guess before I open the floor to any other discussion, I just want to note that at our next meeting in November, we'll be nominating and electing new officers. So the chair and vice chair. Commissioners aren't supposed to self-nominate. So if you're interested in those positions, talk to another commissioner so you can be nominated. And then I guess I just say Doug and I both kind of reached the end of our second full term on the commission. So neither of us are eligible to serve on the AAC next year. So we'll need 2 new folks to serve as chair and vice chair.
I have a question then. Well, we won't have appointed our replacements at that meeting, so those people will not be eligible for any of the positions.
I don't think so. So I think we'll be looking for the folks here. I guess that's an interesting little wrinkle there. I thought I didn't really think about it.
Yeah, it's a little unusual because we typically don't have a chair and a vice chair that expire at the same time. In the way our meetings are scheduled now, you would technically not be on the commission in January when we would normally elect a chair and a vice chair. So if you want to do it in November, you'll have to select from the 5 remaining people on the AAC. And then the 2 new people would be appointed by the mayor, typically appointed late in the year, and then they start their first meeting in January with us. It's going to be a little wonky this year.
John, did we not have, when we faced something like this before, I think we had the past chair conduct the first initial part of the January meeting and then after the election bow out.
That would have been when Bob. Yeah.
Just anyway,
Yeah.
because I don't know.
We could do that as well.
Depends on who shows up.
But if you guys you're aging out of the whole
Eligibility.
commission,
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
more than just officer.
Right.
When
Right.
does that expire?
The officer.
December 31st.
Oh, yeah, December
So
31st.
then you wouldn't be on the commission in January.
Exactly.
That's true.
So it wouldn't make sense for me to run the meeting on in January. That was the thought there. And I would say it probably makes sense for somebody who's already been on the commission to at least fill into the chair and vice chair role.
I mean, since you've opened the door here and we're losing a couple of folks, I mean, I guess I'm curious what our current makeup is and do we already have a pipeline? Do we need to be focused on whether it's the at large or the pilot? I mean, to keep the balance, do we know what that makeup looks like?
I think I think Arnaut is our Ward 3 representative, so that's per the charter. And Colonel Edgecombe is the Air National Guard representative. So
Army.
Oh, God, I'm sorry.
Thin
Yes,
column.
yes.
I'll forgive you
Apologies. Well, so that's covered. I believe Chris Burkholder is a pilot, active pilot. I guess Colonel
Doug
Edgecombe will also be an active
Doug is
pilot.
the other pilot. Yeah, Doug's a pilot.
Cat, also an active
Cat's a
pilot.
pilot.
So I think between those, we have the pilots covered. So it can be
And-
at large, that's
And
Oh, fine.
there are two at large, yeah. So one of the things, there's a couple of things I'll say. So we know that John and Doug's positions are, their 6 years are up, their 3-year terms are up. I believe that Arnaud and one other, and I can't remember who the other is, it might be you, Mike. You're coming to the end of your first term, so presumably you'll want to continue on, but we'll have to confirm that with you. And I'll when I get back into the office, I'll get with Jody to see exactly which positions are expiring. To answer Mike's question, I reached out to our boards and commissions liaison to ensure that there are applicants already in the system. And if there are not, we'll be seeking applicants over the next 2 or 3 months. There are some folks that have indicated a willingness or an interest in serving, but certainly if you want to reach out to folks in your organizations or people that you know are on the airport, they can go on the city's website under boards and commissions and just apply for the Airport Advisory Commission. And then you're right, we'll have to make sure that all of the roles are filled correctly. So 2 pilots, 2 at large, and then standing positions for Ward 2 and for the Army National Guard Aviation Support Facility.
Then, John, just-
Thank you.
Just a
You're
point of,
welcome, Kurt.
it is not unusual in any elected body for the outgoing chair, or president, or mayor, or whatever, to convene that first meeting and to chair that meeting until they turn it over to the new officer. So, you don't turn into pumpkins on December
Okay.
31st. I mean,
We've done that in the past. Yeah, you're right, Mark.
in January, and convene the meeting and turn it over to the new officer. So,
Well, with that in mind, does it make sense to wait until the first meeting to do that?
So,
do
John,
the-
this is Linda.
Hi, Counselor. I didn't see you sneak in there.
I'm on, I'll come towards the table. I'm on the Boards and Commissions Committee, which reviews all the applicants for all of the advisory boards and commissions. We have not seen any applicants that I'm aware of for the Airport Advisory Board. So have Jody, she can reach out to Dan Baum at the mayor's office, city manager's office. But I would encourage you to seek applicants soon. And the reason I say that is the Boards and Commissions Committee will be meeting a couple times. I think once more in October, and I think we'll be meeting once more in November, trying to get people that have expired out or wherever there's openings in the boards and commissions. So we'll need to get them appointed and then approved at the next council meeting before the end of the year. So we're kind of in a crunch load for the end of the year. So
Yeah,
that,
I sent Dan an email this afternoon asking that very question, and my assumption is there are no applicants. There typically are not, but I communicated with John Foley recently if there's anyone in Garmin that is interested in applying. We have I know at least a couple of folks on the airfield that had applied previously, so I'll reach out to them as well. So we'll get the ball moving here in the next couple of weeks.
great, thank you.
One thing I thought I noticed, and I'll double check, and maybe somebody else can cross-check me, but when I looked at the boards and commission sites, it didn't show airport
There
advisory.
was, yeah.
There was no opening listed
So
there.
that's probably why we haven't seen applicants,
Right.
because it doesn't say anything, and so we need, Dan can, this.
Yeah. And a lot of the city's boards and commissions, they turn over on July 1st. Ours happens to be at the calendar year as opposed to the fiscal year, so it doesn't show any openings currently.
Okay.
Arnaud, you had his hand up?
Oh my God, I can't see. Yeah, sorry.
I just checked city's website and there's no openings listed at this point.
Right. Technically, all 4 of you are still there are no openings, but we can still take applicants, I believe. So we'll move that forward. Thanks for that update, Counselor. It sounds like it's a little bit more efficient and formal than it used to be, which is great.
I have one quick question.
Go ahead, Doug.
Probably before the meeting in November, it wouldn't hurt to confirm that everybody that's currently on intends to go on to next year, because that's caught us a couple times too.
Yeah.
Well, we don't necessarily know how many spots we have. We know we have 2 for sure, but if there's conflicts with other folks, it'd be good to confirm that before we
So again, that would be the responsibility of Dan Baum and at the city manager's office. He can reach out to them to find out if they want to renew for those that have the capability, and then find out if any of them do not, then we would know how many openings. But I'm just asking John to kind of be on top of that so that we can be effective in getting this filled, this advisory group filled before the end of the year.
Yep, we'll do that.
What's critical mass for the size of this?
Let's see, I think
I
it's.
forgot, we lowered it because.
Did we lower? No, I thought it
Maybe
was, I thought it was 7.
Quorum is
Four
four plus one.
And then so we have 4 for a quorum, 7 total.
Yeah.
If I'm
Counselor
right.
Nishioka, if I could get from you that phone number and the name written down before you go, that would be great.
Sure, Jody, I'll do that.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, well, is there any other discussion on that topic? I guess we'll figure out how we want to handle,
Let the active campaigning begin.
yeah, exactly. We'll figure out how many folks we'll have next year, and then we can circle up on whether we want to have the elections in November or delay until January, but let's see where we're at. And that'll just be on the agenda, so it shouldn't be a problem. And if there's already people who are interested, and if you have questions, please, you can talk to myself or Doug or John about what's involved. And it's, it's not a huge responsibility. But yeah, feel free to ask questions. Are there any other items for commission discussion? All right, seeing as none, then we can go ahead and adjourn the meeting for this evening. Thank you all very much, and we'll see you in a
Thank
couple
you,
months.
everyone. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.